What's going on, everybody? Looks like I am 2 for 2 on late guest. How's everybody doing tonight? Y'all pop up in the comments. Let me know how you doing. Who's all here? See 3 guests. So I've got a wave in the comments. If you're on Facebook and you want your name to show up there, you have to click the link that's above the or around the title, and that way it'll show your name and I can know who you are. But what's going on? I appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in and saying what's up. I'm waiting for a couple more people to get on here. Like I said, my guest has not arrived yet. Excuse me. I don't think they have a time zone difference. Maybe something's going on. Bryan, Rivera, Samsons, Snakeatorium. My guy's on podcast all the time, so he knows how this drill goes. So we got It's Me. I can't see. Maybe you can see how it shows up, Facebook user. But Gary says maybe they don't like me. No, Bryan, he really likes me. And I got my boss man, Bryan Conley. What's going on, brother? Yes, I am feeling better, live and well. While we wait, I figured I'd show off the albino clutch. I don't know if Larry's in here. I know Larry Howard had a couple questions about it. Zachary Hall, if you're in here, show off the shark jaw and what it looks like. But this is one of the babies here. And if you can see, the mouth and the head, if he wants to cooperate, looks like a shark. Let's see here. There you go. But the under jaw is the one that doesn't meet up with the top, and that's that's why it can be difficult for them to eat. But this one actually is not as bad as the others. I believe this is the one that I'm going to keep. You can see from the bottom. Let me show you. See here? Some of the other ones, they got it's pretty extreme, and I'm hopeful, but may not let's see here, may not work out for them physically. Here's one. So here's one that's a little bit more deformed, but beautiful snakes. This is a inchy albino. Okay, Cody, how's it going, man? Casey, how you doing? Excited for tonight's show? Me too. I hope Bryan hops on here because he is a major player in the the reptile community. A lot of you may know Bryan from his many podcasts. I think he does two or three of them. We got Nick in the house. What's going on, Nick, brother? How's it going? I got the email. He is on the way. Let me send him an invite. Hold on. Y'all bear with me just a second here. All right. I got him the invite sent, so he'll be joining us here shortly. We got Alexandria Chapman. Thank you for joining us tonight. How you doing? Dustin, what's going on, brother? Yes, I'm doing well. Ain't too much that can stop me, you know. But anyway, I was showing off the shark mouth clutch. They just shut out Friday night going into Saturday. And what I do for all my clutches that has given me good success with them eating their first meal is leave them in the incubator for a week after they shed. I know a lot of people are gung-ho about immediately putting them in their individual tubs once they shed, and to each is their own. The way that I do it works for me. So this weekend they will get their own tubs and they will have their first chance at thriving. So hopefully everybody takes food and it works out perfectly. I don't have to do any assist feeding or anything like that. Assist feeding wouldn't come for another 2 or 3 weeks. I like to give them every opportunity that they can to eat on their own, because assist feeding, force feeding, anything other than their natural way of eating is stressful. Frozen thawed is stressful. I don't care what people say. It's not natural. What comes natural to them is a live animal coming across them and them ambushing and being able to pick out their prey. So hopefully they're able to take on their own, and I don't have to assist them, because that wouldn't be ideal. Dustin, that was the clutch you were waiting on an albino from. There was 2 albino females and 2 inchy albino males, and they all have shark jaw. Pretty bad shark jaw too. I don't know that they'll eat on their own. I don't know how it's gonna play out, man, but that's them. Unfortunately, I had a couple people. BJ wanted one. I wanted to keep one. I still probably will. I think Gary and his wife's going to end up with one. And BJ he said he still may want one as well. And then I know there's another young woman that was wanting one from that clutch, regardless of shark jaw or not. So, like I said, I got Bryan sent the invitation over, so he should be joining us here shortly. In the meantime, y'all let me know what y'all up to tonight. How's everybody doing? Check in. Let me know you're here. Dustin, you still like to have one. There may be one available. I know there won't be two available, but I'll keep you in mind, man. It'll be a tough road with the man there. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be challenging, but if you're up to it, then you most definitely can get one. Mike Bramlett, how's it going, brother? Says he's smoking meat. You always smoking something. All right, so we got the man himself backstage. I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on. Everybody, y'all welcome
Hello.
Bryan to the chat. What's going on, brother?
What's good, brother? How are you? I woke
I'm
up
doing
just for this, just for you.
I'm doing good, man. You asleep?
Yeah, it was a long one. Like, I don't know. The the days lately just don't have enough hours, man.
Especially for you, man. You grinding, don't stop. How many podcasts you up to now? 3 or 4 live streams a
um,
week?
it's three live streams and one recorded one, and we just got back on track with that one. Samson has to do his. I was like, no, this is. I started this for you, man. You need to get back on track. So he's back on track this week. He did one yesterday for this Saturday.
Okay,
Or
what's that?
Saturdays with Samson.
What's that one called?
Saturdays with Samson.
Okay, I don't think I've checked that one out yet.
Yeah, he has a few out there. He's interviewed most of the kids that are in the community already. And now he's gonna start just doing videos on different things.
Nice, like instructional or like educational videos.
Yeah, a combination. He also wants to do variety, so he doesn't want it to be just one second, brother.
You good?
I'm in the room and I got this wheezing fan over here killing me. Sounds
Yeah,
like a 80-year-old lady that smokes 2 packs of cigarettes.
I know how it is, man. Had to cut off 4 or 5 fans before I start every time.
Yeah, these rooms get a little warm, right?
Yeah, man.
So he wants to do a variety type show where he's not just talking about snakes. And I said that's fine, not a problem. So he'll talk about being a 9-year-old kid, but a lot of them are just pertaining to the snakes. Like this one, this Saturday is him showing his third clutch.
Okay, sweet. So if this is you all's first time being introduced to Bryan and his son Samson, they are Samson Snakeatorium. Awesome people, man. Yes, the best merch in the game. I'm gonna tell you, I got your sticker pack, bro, and I want to say I have never received so much in one pack. I got two pins, two keychain, 2 or 3 stickers. I mean, different logos. It was awesome, man. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Now here's the crazy part. That thing drove around in the car forever.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you messaged me saying, "Look what I found."
I was like, what is wrong with me? First, I did mail it out and then it was sent back.
Yeah,
They sent it back to me. I don't know if it wasn't enough postage. So the way the US Post Office works, if they feel anything in there, now they're scanning everything. So if they scan it and they see the buttons right there,
yeah.
it's no longer parcel. It's now a package.
That sucks.
Yeah, got away with it a few times though. I got away with it a few times. So hey, it was cool while it lasted, right?
So yeah, you sending that out to everybody? I thought that was just a special package, man. I thought that was just a
It
me thing.
was no. Not too many people could say they got everything. No, definitely not the case. Nope. Um,
Cool. BJ,
that was
what's going on,
definitely
brother?
for you.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah. So if y'all haven't had the pleasure of checking these guys out, they are on YouTube, Instagram. Do y'all have a Facebook page?
We have a Facebook page too, but it's pretty much
Okay.
just Instagram on Facebook. To be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Are you still
um,
pretty putting up videos on YouTube?
I haven't been active. Besides the lives, are
Yeah.
so time consuming.
I know what you
Um,
mean. I definitely know what you mean, man.
but there's great content on the lives. Like what people would get out of videos, You'll find that content in the lives. For example, well, there's three different lives. So
Tell us about them.
Wednesday,
Yep.
yeah, thank you, brother. Wednesday is like what's in your cup, and it's literally I have a cup of coffee with somebody that's in the reptile community, and we just chop it up. I say we're spilling tea over convos and coffee.
Yep.
Um, that's all three of the lives have been running consecutively in excess of 30 weeks. So that's three lives a week for more than 30 weeks. So that's
Yeah.
kind of phenomenal. I never
Oh
thought
yeah.
that would happen. So like I said, that format, we made it. I started that with Lever Genetics one day. I was like, dude, let's have a cup of coffee and just, just talk. And he was like, sure, let's do it. And the lives all started on Instagram. So there's
Yeah.
a few of them that you won't find on YouTube. They're on Instagram. And I think we had at 7 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. We do it Wednesday 7 a.m. Eastern time, Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
And the first live we had 70 people with us. I was so humbled.
Yeah.
I
That's
was just
impressive,
like,
man.
wow.
Yeah.
Um, so we kept that up. Then Thursdays started shortly after the Friday one. So the Friday one is the Keeper's Corner.
Right.
And I do that with my co-host Jason from Canadian Reptile Adventures. Um, we share best practices on breeding and keeping ball pythons, and we often have experienced breeders on the show with us. And your name came up recently, where Jason was like, "Can we have Morph Nation?" I was like, "Well, can't have him this week, man. I'm going on his show." So,
Sweet.
uh, but we get others there as well to show that there are different ways to skin a cat.
Right.
And
Right.
the last Friday of the month we have Freshman and Fabulous, and that's first year breeders that we bring on a show. We bring on a bunch of them since we started to show four rookie breeders and keepers. We bring on a bunch of them that are doing really really well the last month, and we showcase them and everything that they're doing. Because Wednesday show is 7 a.m. Eastern. I started the Thursday bowling with Bryan because there were people that wanted to be on the show, but that's a little tough at 4 in the morning when they're on the other coast.
Man. Man.
So we started that. So it's literally, and that's bowling with Bryan, where all you do is show off your ball python collection and whatever other reptiles you have. I have Dre coming on tomorrow. Excuse me, Thursday for bowling with Bryan. DW Exotics.
Yeah. He's a good guy, man. Very knowledgeable, and has some awesome animals too. I'll tell you, I had him on not the last podcast, the week before last. Um, definitely impressive guy and impressive collection. You'll enjoy that show.
Yeah, I'm looking
GP,
forward to it.
sorry, go ahead.
I'm looking
Go ahead.
forward to it. No, I'm just looking forward to it.
GP, what's going on, brother? Just trying to say hey to everybody in the comments there. Don't miss them. Well, that's awesome, man. I know you grinding and getting it. Like I said, I don't know where you find the time or the mental capacity to get it all done, but you get it. And one of the few in the hobby that I feel like just don't quit, man. Just do not quit. That's awesome.
That I'm glad you say that, and somebody recognizes it. But I've had a few of you that say that, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get frustrated because you see a lot of trash, and I'll be the first one to tell you, there's a lot of trash out there,
Yeah.
and they have thousands and thousands of followers and subscribers, and
Yep.
it's all gimmicky. But
Yeah.
that conversation came up recently, and often when you look at the followers, they're not authentic. They're not
No.
reptile related.
Yep.
They're foreign from other countries. So you're just like, was this people buying subscribers, people buying likes, people buying followers? But you
Yeah.
will see Instagram. Instagram has been breaking down on that. So a lot of people accounts are starting to get you could say shut down or
Really.
suspended from Instagram because they're putting a end to that.
I've never, I don't know. I mean, I get the, wanting to see that number up there, but I've never understood how people like the fake fame. It's just like when I did my giveaway for the sensor push that GP Gershon ended up winning. Um, I I didn't want to do the original or the standard uh, comment 10 tag people 10 people down below, and then like this post, and all that, and have 50 people tag 10 people, and I've got thousands of people who've seen this post. Nothing against people who do this, but I wanted someone to actually watch my YouTube video to the end and see at the end I had one simple instruction: comment I'm in. I literally had two people comment I'm in, and it was a spin for two people. I mean, it was hilarious. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should have done it the original way, and I would have had more people participate. But I thought it was funny that
It is funny. Matter of fact, we're still not at a thousand subscribers on YouTube, and I started a mega giveaway. I mean, months ago, and I had people jumping through hoops. Like you had to do this, that, but that was the whole point, was to direct the traffic to YouTube, because if they went and checked out some of the stuff on YouTube, I was very, very confident that they would find something for them.
yeah,
Because although I'm doing 3, 4 shows a week, they're different. Samson, he caters to that young age. He's 9 years old.
right,
He's been doing this for almost 4 years. Last night he's like, "How long have I been doing this now?" Sounding like a freaking veteran at 9 years old, missing teeth. His
yeah,
baby teeth is still growing in,
yeah,
but he's showing everybody his third clutch that
right.
he paired, he planned, and he's cleaning up and moving them around into the new tub. And so it's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, but that's a
yeah,
big giveaway, man. And I understand wanting to make people jump through hoops. I mean, everybody and their mama's gonna be like, here's my comment for my name for my entry, for something, to get in on something big like that. I think I would try to make people jump through hoops too.
we have eight
Hey,
snakes. We
8
have eight
snakes.
snakes to give away. At least 8 snakes, and we're saying give away, like give
Yes.
away.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include all the other merchandise, hats and
Yeah.
stickers and all that fun stuff. But yeah, it's been work, and I don't quit. That's one of the things. Like I want it to be done organically. I could cheat like everybody else, or I could actually have some people help me do it that have certain social media acclaim, like they have the 100,000 or the few 100,000 followers. They're former students of mine, either pro athletes or celebrities, and it's not organic, because then I have a
Yeah.
whole bunch of yeah. I love it when somebody has like 200,000 followers and they get like, you know, they do a live and they have 100 people. It's like
Yeah. Yeah. That's not real following.
the numbers
Larry,
don't add up, right?
yeah, not at all. Not at all. Or when you have, 5,000 followers and you get 98 likes on Instagram, it's not authentic. I've got
The
1,500 and I average 80 to 100 on my post, you know.
numbers don't add up, right? Well, the
Right.
numbers don't lie. And I was telling someone that either today or yesterday when we were talking about all of this, and I'm like, well, first of all, you said you don't know why. People are working the algorithms. So the more people they
Mhm.
have following them, the more people are going to see their post, and then they start getting real followers because they're in your face all the time. Because
Yeah.
these different platforms are shoving them down your face all day. So there is a reason for it. Then there's financial purposes as well, right? Because
Yep.
YouTube, you need 1,000 followers to be monetized, and then you need 4,000
4,000.
hours
Mhm.
of view time within a 365-day cycle. Instagram actually, there's ways to gain money on Instagram. Every 1,000 followers, different sponsors would pay you to like promote certain things. So there is a reason for it. Then there's the fact that you're buying credibility. If
Yeah.
that person has that many followers, they must be
Yeah.
good at what they do or know what they're doing. No, I challenge that all the time. That's not true. People with thousands of followers say some of the most idiotic stuff, and especially when it comes to the fact that it could actually harm your animals, it just gets really frustrating for me.
Yeah. We seen that earlier this year, didn't we? Um,
Yep.
Larry says, "How do we enter?"
How do you enter right now? Just make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. I do have a private page because I share it with my son. It's Samson's Snakeatorium. And right now, I had all the hoops and everything for people to jump through, but now that we're at that tail end, final like 30%, I just want to get it going. And we're gonna have a really, really fun night, and we'll take it from there. I mean, people start following, supporting, it'll be great. We have great. One of the things I say all the time is quality over quantity.
Quality. Right.
I've never chased the followers on Instagram. I think the last time I even saw how many followers I had was like shortly after we broke that 1,000 mark. Everybody's looking for that 1,000 mark. Um,
Yeah.
and it was cool, but we have such a loyal like community or network that what we're able to do with our people is absolutely phenomenal. Like if I do
Yeah.
a STW, I can close it out like in the snap of a finger, opposed to where I see people that have twice my following and it takes them weeks to months to close it out. So I'm just
Hmm.
like, do you really want all those numbers, but yet they're not supporting you in any way, shape, or form? If we're moving an animal, the animals get moved. So what
Yeah.
matters, that number or getting results?
Yeah. And this is true. I will be the first to say I've entered a few of yours, not because of the snake. I mean, don't get me wrong. It definitely be nice to win that prize, but uh, purely for the fun and support of what you have going on. We've
Appreciate
all
it.
we have been genuine with each other since day one, since I first met you, and uh, and I've always enjoyed your
You
energy.
you are definitely a day one brother though. I'll
Yeah,
tell you that
man.
much, man. And one of the most interesting stories on the giveaways, when your boy won.
Sore subject, sore subject. Hopefully he's not watching. He'll have to rub that in. I don't want that on me. It is what it
Well,
is.
he
Hey,
gave you so
it
much
made to
respect,
Kentucky,
man.
so I get to see it every once in a while when he'll send me a picture.
He gave you
I'm
so
over.
much respect, man. Like that was one of the things when I was speaking to him, and he was like, "Oh, Ramel sent me over here," and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, "All right." And then when we're going back and forth, he's
It was
buying
fun.
more.
It was
It was
fun.
it was it was it was it was, and that's what makes it exciting. And he bought like one more number than you,
Yeah,
and then you went in like, oh, no, 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 I'm not having that.
yeah.
And it was just a whole back
But
and forth,
and with me, it was like he was just getting in, and I was like, you ain't outdoing me. I've been in this. Okay, I can get another one too. He said, well, give me two more. I get two more too. And it was back and forth like that for a minute.
That was
Larry
the
said,
first time I ever had an experience like that where I had two guys go back and forth. It wasn't the last, but it was the first. And I remember I told him, I said, "This is cool, but what if you win? Like, won't Mel
yeah,
be mad?"
yeah,
And he was like, "Nah, man, because he can use it, and
yeah,
if he
yeah.
needs
He's
it,
right
he
down the
can
road.
use it."
He's
So I was like,
literally
"All
right
right,
down the road.
that's cool. That's cool." So he won it, and it was the positions like you guys on the wheel. It was so weird. Like every time he'd have a number, yours would be like right next to his.
Yep, yep.
And I know back then the wheel was doing that little tick and like that little like psych,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it
I
did it
thought I
to
had it.
you. I
I
thought
thought
you
I
had it
had it.
too.
I thought I had it. It
I
is
thought
what
you
it
had it
is,
too.
though. So it looks like you got you another sub on here. Larry said he went over and subbed to you. Make sure you
That's
check
what's
him out.
up, Larry.
Yeah, make sure you check him out on Instagram as well. Um,
Watch Larry win a snake. Look at that. Had other people
Uh-huh.
jump through hoops. Larry came out of nowhere, all because of your show. He'll win a snake.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna get right into the questions. So this is kind of directed, to both of you all. I know, you do this with your son Samson, but what got you all in the hobby or got you started in the reptile keeping hobby? Before I start that? Do you only keep ball pythons? You've got any other reptiles?
I had other reptiles, but right now it's primarily ball pythons, and I have a
Okay.
couple of boas. There's some boas here. I
Okay.
seen you building. I seen you building those cages over there, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I saw that. But yeah, it's primarily ball pythons because of Samson. I had the oh wow. Uh, One day I just wanted a snake in college. Well, actually, it goes back to birth. I was born. My mother's brother, my uncle, my favorite uncle. He's like a father figure. He had a boa constrictor, and that caused a big problem with the family because he lived with my mom, and there was the whole, the snake can eat him and all
Yeah.
that other stuff. So,
Yep.
as a child, I don't remember not being around, that big boa constrictor. There was just something about the fact that my uncle, could handle that snake, and people, were scared of it. I think that there was an allure to that for me. Now you
Yeah.
fast forward 17, 18 years, and I had gotten my first boa, and that's when I was in college. So I'm going back almost 30 years, and it was that same allure. I was the only guy on the college campus to have a snake,
Yeah.
and word got out fast, and it grew fast, and I take it to parties, and people would freak out. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
a girl like having an anxiety attack or passing out just knowing I was coming.
Jeez.
Okay. So yeah, I kind of like that a
Irrational.
lot.
Super irrational.
Yeah, definitely. But also, I can't lie. Back then, I enjoyed it. I'm the only one, and
Oh
it
yeah. Yeah.
kind of gives you that little status there. So fast forward about 14 years ago, um, I was visiting a college roommate, and I was in the same mall. I bought that boa in a mall, in a pet shop in a mall.
Yeah.
And I was in the same mall meeting up with him. I went up to Albany to visit him. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna get another one. It's been a while since I had a reptile. I had been into the dogs for a while. And I was like, I picked up a baby boa. So she's like 9 feet long now. She's 14 years old. So Samson was born into that.
Okay.
We fast forward, he's about 5, 6 years old, and we go to a reptile show, and he liked a ball python.
Right.
Now, I had ball pythons, I had Burmese pythons, I had Savannah monitors, iguanas. The list was lengthy. I hadn't had a ball python in forever. And it's just like, wow, the world of ball pythons has really changed.
Yeah.
Um, so I liked it. It was a spider. We love spiders. Spiders still top three favorite genes of ours.
Definitely.
Kind of what resurrected the whole love for that species.
Yeah.
And he asked if he can get it. Now I went to the show to get another boa,
Right.
and he asked if he could have the ball python. And we were at Matt Lee's table, ML Exotics, and I asked his mom, and she said okay, which was kind of shocking. And we got that ball python, and just like everybody else that jumps into the ball python world, I mean, there were 17 of them in a few months. you know
Snowball.
that
Yep. Snowball effect.
that's it. And now Samson is 9 years old, and he's been raising some of his own babies, and the collection grew. People gave him ball pythons, so
That's awesome.
he's into, like, I would say close to 100 ball pythons.
Wow.
And breeding, that's the amazing part. Like, for the last few years, it's been learning. Like, he can break
Yeah.
it down. He can break genes down to you. He could break down recessive. He doesn't call it codom, from the beginning. It's incomplete.
Yeah.
dominant, like, and
Mm-hmm.
he'll explain to you what it means. Um, he'll look at snakes and be able to identify certain genes in them. I mean, he's still 9 years old at the end of it all.
Right, right.
You know, he still collects cars and plays with Nerf guns. He just got his first dirt bike. He's playing football, his first year playing tackle football. So he's still a kid,
Yeah,
but it's impressive to see what he's learned in three plus years, almost 4 years of
yeah,
keeping, and this being his first official year breeding. So, yeah, I guess I was born into it, and it just never left me. And having my son just helps, helps me. I was able to use him as an excuse to get back into it.
yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I think you know, a lot of people, it's not that it's not complicated, but they overcomplicate things. So for you to say, your 9-year-old son can sit there and hang in with the best conversations, speaking of, pairings and identifying snakes and, incomplete dominant genes, and all this stuff is because he has been around with his ears open and his eyes fixated on what he liked and what he wanted to do in the hobby. You know what I mean? I think that it's kind of like a foreign language. It's and people refer to being a foreign language as far as the genes and stuff like that. But if you're around it enough, you got dropped off in the middle of Ukraine. After a few years, you know how to speak their language. You know what I mean?
I dig it, and I think that's a perfect example. And he asks questions. He
Yeah,
definitely is always asking questions. But what you just said just made me think about the fact, like, one of his clutches was so simple. It was a pinstripe to a lemon blast, and he just wanted to make a lemon blast.
yeah,
That was his goal. I mean, like I said, he was 7, 8 years old. He fell in love with it. It became one of his favorite morphs, and he wanted to make a lemon blast. He made three of them, and one of them was a girl. Now the guy's picking holdbacks. He's like, "Oh,
yeah.
this is my holdback." And I'm just like, "All right, you got it, boy."
Go checked. Go checked.
That's
What's
it.
going on, Dre? Thanks for
Oh, okay,
tapping
Dre. What's
in.
up, brother? See you Thursday.
Yeah, man, that's just like me. My second clutch, my probably all time besides Ultramel Highway, one of my favorite snakes that I've made or that I had planned on making was the 8 ball. And I held her back. That is
How are
one
they
of
doing, bro? I remember that clutch. How are they? How
that
are they doing?
all good, man. My buddy Gary, his Gary Reffett and his wife with the Noodle Ranch, they have the cleft palate female out of that clutch. So there's two 8 balls, and I kept one, and then him and his wife have the other one. I do believe that their snake has Russo in it too, because if you hold ours side by side, although they're both 8 balls, theirs has blue eyes. So and
Okay,
there was Russo in that.
Bell Complex. Yeah,
Yep. So,
I
but they're
remember
doing
that
pretty
clutch,
good.
man. That was a bad clutch. I know you had like one little mishap, but other than that,
Yep.
those
Yep.
odds were crazy, man.
Yep, that was the third 8 ball, and if it would have survived, I would have had three out of that clutch, but that one didn't make it. So but it happens. It happens.
It's a
Uh,
future goal. That's a future goal of ours. But another thing we want to do is very simple, just a GHI Mojave Ghost, and it was cool that my son, he got the parts, he got the ingredients, and that's one of the things that he'll be working on. What's
Heck
up,
yeah.
Jack?
How's it going, man?
Matter of
Yeah,
fact, Jack, he wore your shirt. Samson wore your swag in his video coming out Saturday and gave you and Jax a shout out. He was rocking that inflicted swag.
yeah, he's got a sick logo. So yeah, the GHI Mojave Ghost is definitely a combo I'd like to make, man. That's a nice one.
Simple, simple three gene beauty, and it doesn't go away. Um, I chased the guy down for his, and I don't know why, but I'm glad it didn't work out. I guess because it's something that became a gold snake, and he sold it. And when he sold it, I was like, dude, how many times did I tell you I wanted that snake? She was already an adult. I was like, how many times
Oh
did I
man.
tell you? He goes, oh man, I'm sorry. So the guy put a deposit, and I chased him down for 30 days. For 30 days, I was like, so did he pay it off yet? Did he pay it off yet? Literally on day 30, he didn't pay it off. I was like, all right, so look, keep the deposit. I'll still pay the full amount.
Yeah.
And the guy hit him up on day 30 and asked him for one more day. I'm like, well, technically, I
Yeah.
want to get into semantics here. I'm like, well, technically,
Right.
he violated terms. Keep his deposit. I'll
Yeah.
still pay you in full. You'll make more money this way.
Yeah.
So no, he was a good guy, and but it turned out to be a mouser, so I'm not mad because mousers are they could be little headaches there. So
This is true. This is true. Flexing Pythons, what's going on, man?
oh
Um, I'm not too afraid of micers, man. I like the challenge. I like to transfer them over from mice to rats. I know we had talked about you feed ASFs, right? Where
yes,
you're at.
sir.
Fortunately, um, we're not allowed to breed them here. I get I can feed them frozen if I wanted to purchase them, but that's a little bit of a
Matter
headache.
of fact, Balls and Strikes is gonna start doing frozen. He's out of South Carolina, so you could always
Yeah,
hit
yeah,
up
Troy.
Troy, and he's gonna start shipping them out. He was talking about that the other day.
Yeah, Troy. I believe he is in my home city, Anderson, South Carolina.
Oh, is he?
Yep, born and raised in Anderson, South Carolina. Well, till I was 10, I moved to Kentucky. But um, so my next question here, you kind of answered with your first response. And going into diving into what got you started was how long you've been keeping reptiles. But what is your all-time favorite reptile to keep? Between I know you said you had the boa or the ball pythons. If you had to choose one,
Oh, if I had to choose, there's no choice. Boa wins all day, every day.
yeah,
We only have two right now. I had at 1.5. We sold the other ones. Um, just space and other reasons. Got good money for them. I mean, it's always a good
yeah,
reason.
oh yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'm a boa guy, man. I love my boas.
yeah, yeah. I've got five. 3 BCCs, and then my 2 Dumerals boas. Um, I didn't post this up because it was too much for me going on at the time. But I think have you seen my Dumerals boas that I've posted that I have Dumerals boas?
Yes.
So I bred them. My female ended up having 13 slugs and
Ooh.
one stillborn. So it was pretty devastating, and that was kind of a project for me. Although yes, I was going to sell some babies, I could care less, if she would have just produced that one and had that one, I would have been good. But I'm with you, man.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah,
Boas, and breeding boas is a whole different world. And your first clutches are usually going to be high slugged
yeah,
or stillborn. I tell people that all the time. It's a whole different world. And
so,
if you have a great success, now you're looking at 30 live babies all at once. It's like
yeah,
hitting three clutches at one time. It's a whole
yeah.
different world.
I told a buddy of mine, I was like, man, boas are different. They're different. That's why you don't see people like you do on ball python pages where they're posting a picture in their tank and they're like, "What did my ball python just have? Are these eggs?" You're not gonna see somebody post talking about what is my did my boa just have babies? Like it's not as easy with them as it is
Not
with
at
ball
all.
pythons. They're
And
a lot more.
getting them to eat is also more of a headache too.
Yeah, which my Dumeril's boa female never ever missed a meal, and that's how I knew 100% that she was gravid. When she turned away that first rat, I was like, oh my god, you did not eat that. That's good. That's good. And then she ended up not going all the way, but
I tell
so
all ball python collectors that they should have at least I would say one garbage disposal in their
oh yeah,
collection, and
yep,
that's a boa.
yep,
Have at least one. You have any kill but did not eat, or someone doesn't want to eat. There you go. You toss it in that tank, and it's gone.
for sure. KCA slug is a infertile egg. Boas are I don't want to mess this word up. I don't even want to mess the word up, but they have live birth. And pythons have eggs. Both can have slugs. The only difference is the boas incubate the eggs inside of them, and pythons don't. But a stillborn, she actually had a baby that came out of the egg embryo sac, and it was not alive or didn't make it. I actually did uh, catch a breath or two, and the heartbeat was there for about 45 minutes, and I tried to revive it. There was just nothing there though. So
Great explanation. And for all of you that always want to debate me, that is why, although it is referred to most often as a litter, they do have a clutch. Okay. That's always been a debate. But if you look it up and you do your research, you will see that litters are usually pertaining to mammals that have 8 animals in that range around there. But boas do have eggs. It's just that. Oh, now I'm forgetting the term. I'm forgetting the term as well. But you explained it. You explained it perfectly.
yeah, it's like something vivarious or something.
Mm-hmm.
Levo, I don't want to mess with it. I can't talk as
Look
is,
it up.
especially not.
Look it up, guys. Look it up. We live in a different world where you can Google, you can ask Siri, you can ask Alexa. You don't have to go to the library. You don't have to.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
there's a
have
book. Just go look
don't,
it up.
don't have to move one bit. So I know you are slaying it this season. You had a goal of 200 babies or 200 eggs, and you're surpassed that already, right?
That was outside of Samson's world.
Oh, okay, okay,
So
okay. I
so
didn't know
so
that.
Sam, yes, yeah, I do partnerships or joint pairings with other people. So that was primarily with who I call my snake wifey, and 248, I believe,
Okay,
was the final number. There are a couple that are gravid, but they won't they won't drop them this season. It'll be 2022. So
I
we're
got you.
stopping at that number 248, which is pretty cool. Um, the cooler part about that is three, maybe four slugs out of that number.
Wow, that's impressive.
So
That's a high percentage of fertile eggs.
yeah, and I don't, and I, he has a very different way of doing things. I don't argue with him
Yeah,
because as primitive as he can be, his way works. It works year after year after year. I've seen people posting so many, slugged out situations this year. So he has theories to a lot of the stuff that why it happens the way it is. It's not really scientifically proven, but like I said, I don't argue with him anymore.
yeah. And there's definitely a million ways to skin a cat, man. Phrase as old as the day is, But here's my thing: is like I don't, I tell people all the time, like there's a lot of different, ways to do it. There's definitely a wrong way to do it. Um, but most of the time when people say like don't do that, it's just because it's unnecessary. It's not that it's wrong, it's just unnecessary. And the biggest topic of them all, moving to feed is one that I tell people all the time. It's unnecessary. It's not wrong, it's just unnecessary.
I think that depending on whatever animal, whatever species, you just have to have the best understanding possible and always try to minimize any additional stressors. We
Yeah.
as humans, I mean, when you talk about reptiles and a lot of other exotics, these really aren't pets. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So I think that it's just our responsibility to have that goal of stressing them as little as possible,
For
and
sure.
um, and the only way you're going to do that is by understanding how that species, operates, and
Yep.
that you're not doing things to stress it out.
Right.
And when it comes to ball pythons, they are a real boring animal. I mean,
Yeah. Pet
that's what
rocks.
that pet rock. There you
Pet
go.
rocks.
It's a boring animal, but it's a beautiful, boring animal, and you want to hold it, you want to touch it. It doesn't necessarily want to be held and touched, but
Yeah.
you just got to try to minimize the stress. So I tell people, if you want an hour of that ball python companionship, do the math. You need about three different ball pythons, seven
Yep.
days a week. Put them on a rotation. Get
Yep.
yourself a 21 ball python collection. Everybody's happy. You're barely
Hmm.
touching them. You're only holding each one of them once or twice a week at 20 minutes, and you're getting your full hour of companionship.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell people all the time the boas are for me, I have people ask me all the time, you breeding your boas, and I'm gonna breed one of my female BCIs this year, but um, they are for when I'm in breeding season, and I don't want to interrupt anything with my males. I want to get their focus off with my females. I don't want them to say, "Oh, you touched me the wrong way. I'm not gonna go for you this year. Don't touch me like that." I won't go for you the next 3 years if you look at me the wrong way. And
Yeah, man.
that's just how they are. But it is what it is, man. I had wanted to say this. I had a Robert Bishop from Bishop Ball Pythons. I don't know if you've heard of him or seen him, but I had him on
Not sure.
last week. I had him on last week, and
I'll
he
definitely go
had
check it out.
yeah. He's got a lot of impressive snakes. He's got a lot of snakes in general. He's got 250. Um, but he had told me he has a guy that keeps his snake room at 74 degrees. Have you ever experienced this?
Snake room at 74,
Yeah, ambient, and
but
that's his.
he's running an ambient.
That's the ambient,
I mean, we keep ours 75 to 82.
but no heat.
No,
That's what
all
I'm
right.
saying.
So I haven't experienced that. Um, I've heard of it. So Ron from BBM,
Yep,
he
from Puerto
runs,
Rico.
yeah, he runs an ambient, and he just goes off of Mother Nature and Puerto
Yeah,
Rico temperature.
right.
Um, these animals, I think they adapt. I wouldn't say it's ideal,
Yeah,
but I think they adapt, and because they're able to adapt, they show you that they're much tougher than you think they are.
yeah.
And just like anything else in Mother Nature. So I would just like to see what's the success rate, like how many
He says
animals.
that having great success, man. Great success. I was just curious because I freak out whenever my room gets below 75 in the winter. I'm like, I want to turn off everything and just listen. And I'm going by tubs to listen. Am I hearing any wheezing? Like I pick them up, put them in my ear. It freaks me out when I get below that.
I don't think that it's outrageous. We talk about them in their natural setting. They live underground in their natural setting, and although it's
Yeah,
in Africa, you have a wide range.
microclimates. Yeah,
Exactly.
yep,
With from one side of that termite mound to another, they have a very wide range of temperature. So my only question would be though, if he's running an ambient, like how do they ever hit a hot spot like for digestion?
digestion.
Um,
Right.
that would be my only question. But if it's working, it's working. And I've run ambience. Like I said, right now we're running this room at 80 degrees. It's
Yeah.
just easier to do it. The room has its own separate thermostat, and I've had no issues. So I think it's just just like you said, you're checking the tubs, you're looking at their behavior.
Hmm.
If it hits like the 81, 82, I start to see discomfort. You can see it by how
Yeah.
they're moving around in their tubs. They're knocking over their water bowls.
Yep.
So the it'll say 82, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like 82 to them.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so I would think that it has to do with the location of where they are in the room. Maybe they're closer to the heater than others, and in order to get it to 82, the heater's not at 82. So
Right.
so I think all of that plays factors into running an ambient, and exactly the proximity to the heat source, etc., for the animals.
For sure. So how many snakes do you are y'all up to right now?
Gosh, we haven't counted. We have to count because he's been having babies. Samson's been having babies. So since he's been having babies, the numbers are a little rough, but I would say he's hit that 100 mark, and there's more
100.
coming. And I sent one out today, and that's been stressful. That's been really really stressful since I've relocated. So it's my first snake that I sent out since I had a horrible tragedy. My last two were, well, one was dead on arrival,
Oh
and
man.
that one went to Ohio. So I just sent that replacement today. We both have perfect weather and everything else, and the other one went to North Carolina, and it was just in bad shape when it got there, and it
Yeah.
didn't make it 2 days later. So it's been the biggest thing I've ever been concerned about with shipping snakes, and I had it. And reality sucks. I will continue to say in my experience throughout the years, I've had a lot more good fortune than misfortune.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was a little bit stressful. I have another one coming tomorrow. I have a few more we have to pick up over the weekend. I have like one, two, three, four, like five, I think. So yeah, the numbers just go back and forth. If I look at the spreadsheets, I would have to add them all up because they're broken down by different weight categories on the spreadsheets. But yeah, we stopped counting, brother. We stopped counting.
I'm the same way. Bourbon Ball Pythons. This is Steve Pecor. He says he doesn't count the babies unless they are keepers.
That makes sense. The problem is we don't know what we're keeping. He's 9 years old, and
Yeah.
um,
He wants to keep everything.
he wants to keep everything. And I encourage him like that lemon blast was a three. What was it? It was a four. No, it was a 4.3 clutch. So if he wants to keep all the females, hey, go for it. But let's
Yeah.
if we have the males, I have to try to. I want him to make his own decisions, but at the same time, I have to guide him into making the decision. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like you don't need this, you don't need that. You have that. You have an adult. You can't keep everything you make. So we're still dealing with that, but I definitely dig it.
Um, do you know what happened with the DOA
I don't
or care
know
to
per
disclose?
I don't know per se that or I don't know as fact, but based on the appearance, since I relocated, I moved to the sticks, man, and since I moved up here, I haven't had one good situation with FedEx. I mean, I shipped. We had Jack here from Inflicted. I shipped him a beautiful. It was a leopard. I think it was a brass ball, and it took 6 days to get there.
Sheesh.
So that was the beginning of my experiences up here. Now, I'm from a big city, the
Right.
Rotten Apple, and from there, I never once had any problems. Um, every snake I shipped out. I mean, I sent the boa. Talking about boas, I sent the boa to 212 Exotics, and that's Atlanta, Georgia. That took 2 days. It
Yeah.
was there, and they wouldn't let him get it. It was just like it's just been every single shipment has been a headache. This one was recent, and it was the first time since I've shipped an animal from here that it got. They both got to their destinations in less than 24 hours. I was so happy. It was like such a sense of relief.
Yeah.
I was like, finally, they got it together. So if you
Wow.
want to talk about an emotional roller coaster, so Mad River Serpents, and Rattery, he gets his package and he hits me up. He's like, Bryan, it's DOA,
Yeah.
and he's at FedEx, and I get on a video with him right away, and he's showing me, and I'm just like, wow. You see your animal, and you're just like, you see it lifeless, and it just hits you a whole different way, you know.
Yeah. That's rough.
Um, and he said it didn't smell. Again, it was less than 24 hours from packing to actually opening it. Um, my assumption, and that's because of the way it looked and the way that the other one looked. The other one was limp. He goes, this was Morphed Ambitions, and it was very limp. He goes, Bryan, it's limp from like two-thirds his body down, and when he picked it up, you just saw it just dangled, and we were like, well,
Hmm.
let's just hope it's past that rough stage. So to me, it looked like they were like a heat exhaustion, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they were in too hot of an environment. Now, weather was perfect. We're very intentional. I mean, my snake is coming from one of my snakes is coming from No Limit Royals tomorrow. We've been waiting weeks to have
Right.
a crack in the weather. Um, when I shipped those out, weather was ideal in both locations. So it wasn't weather, it wasn't packaging. Um, they arrived in less than 24 hours. So my only hypothesis is that they were pretty much cooked, like either left in
Yeah.
a vehicle. It doesn't take long. That's another thing.
Oh
It,
yeah.
it, it really doesn't take long to cause them damage. If you're in a closed vehicle in the hot weather, I mean, it could hit excess of 100 plus degrees in the matter of minutes. Leave them there 20 to 30 minutes. You're cooking organs already.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Steven. I've been lucky. Steven said he's been lucky as well. Haven't had any animals delayed. Shoot, man, I don't think I've had any show up past 10 o'clock in the morning. I've shipped to California, up your way in New York, um, everywhere. I know a lot of people have trouble with the Memphis hub. That hub needs to get it together.
The
But
6 day, the 6 day snake, the 6 day baby that went to Inflicted was making its rounds in Memphis for a few days,
yeah,
and they
that's
couldn't get it on the
unfortunate.
truck, which made no sense. It was there, and they couldn't get it out.
Phew, that's stupid. That's the worst too, man. It's feeling like it's right there. It's at my fingertips. You just let me get it, and not being able to do anything, or according to them, not be able to do anything. But that sucks, man. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Uh,
But I think that it's a locality issue. I think it has to do with where I'm at now, and I've only done hub to hub. So that's another thing. People will hit me up and they'll say, "Oh, that's why I only ship hub to hub." I'm like, I've only shipped hub to hub,
yeah,
but everyone has. I'm having it in my business world, and it's a big issue throughout the country. Staffing and labor and I mean, all of these shipping services, whether it's the USPS or UPS or FedEx, Amazon, whatever the case is, their workload has increased. I mean,
oh
exponentially during
yeah,
this pandemic or post pandemic or pre new pandemic, whatever you want to
hmm
call it. And then the labor force has been reduced by upwards of 50%. So we're increasing their workload, decreasing their workforce, and that's just one really bad formula. Throw in live animals, there's going to be casualties. So
yeah. Gary says he applauds your transparency. Most people would try to cover that up.
you can't, you can't. You have to share the ugly side. I mean, you did it. You did
Yeah,
it when you had that clutch.
yeah, yeah. And
People
I
have to
was
understand that.
yeah, and I was just before you came on. I was talking to everybody about my shark jaw clutch, and showing them off. Um, and it's the side that nobody wants to talk about, but it's just as important as hitting all pods from a double head pairing, or head to head pod pairing. It's it's something that you at some point will have to experience. Have
I
you?
think it's actually more important, Mel, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
I think it's more important because you have a lot of people. Look, I have a 9-year-old breeder. It's not that difficult to take a snake out of one tub and put it in another one. Let's just be
yeah,
honest about it,
yep,
right?
yep,
It's not that we're not using ultrasound machines. We're literally pairing them. He monitors. We catch a lock. We take it out in 3 days. We don't catch a lock. We take it out in 5 days. Rinse and repeat. A few
yeah,
weeks later. So it's not that difficult to do what we're doing. What is difficult is understanding what you're getting into and understanding, all right, well, the
yep,
cost of maintaining these animals, it grows really fast.
yep.
The amount of time, the elbow grease that goes into maintain, it's definitely a whole different ball game with 100 snakes than it was when you only had 3 or 4.
Oh yeah,
Okay?
or even
And,
10.
and I was spoiled, brother. I was spoiled. I had interns. I just moved up to the sticks, and I'm like, I can't wait till college starts. That I need to find me a couple more interns because this is labor. It's a
Yeah,
labor of love, but at the end of the day, it is labor. But I
yeah,
think it's important that we do share the ugly side for those people that might be on the fence. Samson's first egg that went bad. I mean, that was a traumatizing experience for him, and it was just an
yeah.
egg, you know.
Right, right.
So we do have to share it. People do have to understand this is part of it. And it's not to grow callous, but it's to be realistic and understand what you're getting into. And it might not be for you, you
Yeah,
know. It might not be for you. And when you see these things, it kind of hopefully makes you do things or try to focus on as many aspects of breeding and keeping that you can control. Because if you
yeah,
can do whatever you can to prevent certain situations, then you know utilize that power.
yeah. For sure, for sure. Um, Man, one of the main reasons that I started this podcast was to be able to, at least, hopefully touch one person that watches the podcast each week, in helping them better how they keep their animals, better knowledge on the animals, that they keep in general about that species, or just knowledge in general. So, with being the well-rounded guy that you are, and the knowledge that you have, and
You
even
calling me fat, Mel? I only gained 40 pounds, man.
no, 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 well-rounded, knowledgeable. No, what piece of advice could you offer somebody that, um, or what is the probably the most common husbandry or keeping mistake that you see when it comes to the ball python breeder or keeper, and advice that you could help that person or give that person?
If you're gonna say the most, I think the most common mistake would be space. You and I were discussing their pet rocks.
Yep.
So a lot of times the newer keeper doesn't have them in an appropriate sized tub or tank.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the number one situation that they don't understand why they're not eating. And
And you're speaking of oversizing, not undersizing, correct? Just want to clarify that. And there's probably
uh,
gonna be somebody
more
watching.
more often than not, oversized, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we do have guidelines, all these years of either keeping, breeding, researching. We have guidelines, but you do have a few of these animals that have I would say personalities that kind of go against the grain. And you'll be surprised because there are some that I've put in back in their tighter tubs, and all of a sudden they're thriving,
Hmm.
where they weren't ready for that transition yet. But
Yeah.
more often than not, it's oversizing. It's oversizing the animal. The tub is too large. The animal feels insecure. Insecurity attributes to stress. Stress keeps them from eating or causing other problems. So I would think that's the main one.
Yeah.
And it's over and over again and again. It's because people don't understand that they don't need a lot of space. I actually, one of my videos on YouTube was a short, and it hit a few tens of thousands of views, and it was because of the hate that I got about the animals being in tubs, and people saying that it was too small a space for them. And I started getting a lot of trolling, and I'm that guy that comes at you because the whole point, like you
Yeah.
said, I want to educate somebody. At the end of the day, you have a right to be misinformed because that's what you are.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm going to inform you. Now, what you do with the knowledge is up to you.
Up to
I
you.
had one guy come. I had one guy come back to me with the dimensions and what the proper size. He asked me how big the snake was. I told him. He came back to me with what he said was the proper size dimensions for a tub, and I said that'll work. And I said, and ironically, the tub that the snake is in is actually bigger than what you're saying it should be in. So, that I think is definitely one of the biggest misnomers and situations there,
Yeah.
and inappropriate size
And
housing.
that's definitely a big one and a good one. I tell people all the time, as long as you listen to your snake, your animal, your reptile, whatever it is, um, literally listen to them, because they will tell you what they want. If you're able to understand their language, then and they're happy, they're eating, they're shedding, they're pooping, doing everything that they should, then you're good. But if you're ignoring what they're telling you because you feel like this is best for them, or you feel like you should be able to see them when they go from one end to the other end, then you're stupid. Like, that's just plain and simple. It's you don't have their best interest. You have your interest at hand. I get
Get
there.
get a corn snake, get a boa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
tell them all the time.
I
Yep,
get that
get a
there
corn snake.
are pets. I tell my wife, I demand my dogs act a certain way. Like that's just how it is. They don't always do it. Matter of fact, most of the time they don't do it. But I'm still going to I'm still going to demand that they do that. But at the end of the day, for them to say, for me to get a understanding of what I want from them and what they want from me, you know, that I have to know and understand how to speak their language. See what I'm saying? So it you're right, man. It blows my mind the amount of people who feel like they know better than the snake knows what it needs or what it wants.
Problem with
And
that is by the time you figure out that you did something wrong, it's too late.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
dogs bark. Dogs bark. They kind of make it obvious when there's something wrong. The snakes will, like I said, when they have that induced stress, it's causing issues, which can cause anything from organ failure to refusal to eat to other situations. Living in its bowl because people don't realize a lot of times your snake is not in its bowl because of the temperature. Your snake is in its bowl because it has an inappropriate size hide or it's trying to hide, and that tightness of the bowl gives it that sense of security. But now you have a snake that's always in water, so now you got to worry about scale rot
yeah,
and other ailments.
yeah.
So there's a lot of different things that if you ignore it, by the time you figure it out, it's too late. There's irreparable damage.
Man, I've got an oddie. I want a odd situation I want to throw on you. I've never had this experience before, and this blows back on Gary saying being transparent. I have no shame in this situation happening, and I'm more than okay with sharing it. Um, anyway, I had a hatchling that last show she had eaten got a hold of a pup literally at 3:45. The show aired at 8, and as I came onto the show, she had still had the pup wrapped up but didn't kill it. Hadn't killed it yet. After the show ended, which was 11 or so, she still hadn't killed it. Have you ever experienced that?
All right, I'm sorry. So say that again. She,
Oh, sorry. I don't know if you were looking at the comments. I was in there too.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know
I got that
what
wrong.
that guy's issue is. I blocked him. But
Yeah, I hate
anyway,
trolls. But go ahead. I'm
it,
sorry.
uh, so I had a hatchling that had wrapped up a pup and didn't kill it, and it was like
Okay.
I don't know. At the end of the show, it was like 11:30 or so. I mean, you're talking about like 6 or 7 hours. The thing had it wrapped up. All in,
Wow.
all in all, man, it got overexerted, exhausted, or something, and it died the next morning. It was incredible. I've never seen it before.
I've never seen that either. I've had snakes try to eat their food without killing it. I've had that where they're literally trying to eat it alive.
Yeah,
But one of the things that I learned is often they don't kill their food. They knock it unconscious and they do eat them alive
yeah.
quite often. So you will have a few that will kind of like just pop up like in the process, like, oh, I'm not out, I'm not that out. But that's probably what it was overexertion. And how old was the snake?
So she was probably going on 2 months old. She had been assist fed. She wasn't eating on her own. This was the first time
Yeah.
that she had taken one by herself. And as the podcast started, I had told couple people what was going on. At that point, it had been a couple hours, and I was saying I don't know how I should approach this because this is her first time taking unassisted. If I take the pup away from her, she could go backwards. Where ball pythons can be easily stressed. Um, I didn't want her to relate that again to another stressful situation like she has been. Every assist feed is going to be stressful. Anything other than you putting a live rat pup in there, or dancing a frozen thawed rat pup in there is going to be stressful to them because that's just what they are. It's not
Yeah.
natural.
So, I mean, I would take it to overexertion, but she probably had issues. I mean,
Yeah,
either neurological issues or other things that forced you to have to assist feed. And And that's another thing. I mean, the fact is they have so many babies because they're not all supposed to make it. We want every one of them to make it, but they have certain things, certain mechanisms that are for the survival of the species, and sometimes all we do is we prolong the inevitable, and that's just our good nature and wanting every animal to survive, but not all of them are supposed to survive. But no, I've never seen that. That's a first that I've ever heard about that.
Yeah, man, it was odd. I uh I don't know what to think of that. That was it was I figured that worst come worst, and whenever I came to check on it, she would have just let it go, and that would have been it. But wasn't expecting to find her dead. That was for sure. I had a couple people tell me that she'd be fine. I don't know if Steven, if you're still in here. I know he was on here last time when I was talking about it. But it is what it is. Another thing that happens, in this hobby, not common, but it happened. April, how's it going? Thanks for joining us tonight. Think I missed anybody else. I don't know who this Facebook user is, but it says shout out to Morph Nation and the projects I get to be involved in. Okay, that must be my brother Ian Lee.
Is that free
Uh,
labor? Is that free labor, man?
nah, man, that's my boy. He works throughout the country.
Gotcha.
He travels, so we've got a couple projects together. So I've got a list of questions. I call them the code seat questions. Just either or, you can choose not to answer, and I'm gonna ramble through them, and you can just pick one. So let us know what you think. Good.
Go for it. Yep.
All right. So belly heat or back heat?
Both. I'm transitioning. I'm transitioning to back heat. I wanna give it a shot just because it's less hazardous.
Okay. I seen Pat Pythons
Yep.
did all his to back heat.
Yep.
Um, Now have you seen his new racks that he's coming out with?
Yep.
Are they belly heat?
Oh, actually, I'm not sure. I didn't go on the website. I know that he's promoting having the lightest material.
Yeah.
Um, I was supposed to have racks made out of aluminum. I'm not going in that direction. I just have too much going on right now, and the person I was doing it with seemed to be more talk than anything. So
Yeah.
so I think that's probably what he did. It was the aluminum. I
Mm.
don't know. That's a good question. I would be
That just
interested.
came. Yeah, it just came to my head
I'd be
while I was.
interested in. Yeah, I would think it's most likely belly heat, but that would be interesting considering that he's transitioned to back heat.
Yeah. So are you a live or frozen feeder?
Live all
Live
day,
all
every
day.
day.
So do you buy your feeders or breed your feeders?
I buy, but I care for them like I'm freaking breeding, so it sucks. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep them I keep them. I do a month at a time, because my breeders
Okay.
aren't local. So I buy a
Okay.
whole. So I actually have a whole rack, but I just fill their tubs, and Samson and I feed and water them, and it's just
Right.
easier that way.
Yeah. Buy hets or make your own.
I just got into the hets, so I'm gonna have to say bye.
Okay. Paper or cocoa?
I prefer paper all day.
Paper all day. Quality, we already know this, or quantity
It should be quality all day, quality over quantity and everything.
all day. Are you team Ultramil or team Monarch?
Monarch,
Really?
Monarch,
You
man,
work it?
Monarch.
Are you working any?
I'm not working. I have a friend that's working it. Actually got put on blast because my diarrhea of the mouth came out, and I was like, Ultramel bootleg Monarch, and it just came out, and but yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. It's just something about that Monarch. It just stands
It's
out.
impressive, man. I can't lie. It is impressive.
It just, I mean, I think it's still a lot of unknown, and I don't know how, you know, there's certain things I think that just look good in that single gene form, and it
Yeah,
might be one, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's an untapped gene.
yeah. Real quick, Marty, wanted to know if you could elaborate a little bit more on the back heat. I think I know why, but if you wouldn't mind to
So
elaborate.
so when I was saying it's a safer method. Number one, when you're doing back heat, you could run racks off of one cord,
Hmm.
opposed to having different cords for each level. So if you look at it just from that aspect, you're going from sometimes 10 or more cords to one cord. So now you've reduced the chances for any type of electrical failure, overheating, probe misplacement, etc. So for me, that was the primary reason. I've just seen too many people have issues, and I had one heat mat fail. It was my fault. I didn't give it any airflow. It was under one of my Boa's tanks, and fortunately, we caught it in a really, really timely manner. But if we didn't catch it in a timely manner, being that we were right there when it happened, it could have been an ugly situation. So,
Yeah, yeah. Back heat is definitely a safer option. They can move away from it a lot easier than belly heat, for sure. I've been fortunate not to have any issues. I have all my hatchlings on back heat. Uh, my ARS, of course, is belly heat. I've been looking into ambient heat and what if I could do it, but I also have 4 different species of snakes and lizards and frogs, and I think I have too many different um, things going on to be able to do full ambient. So GP says he's team Monarch too, or yeah, to Monarch. Let's go, but I'm team
oh,
both.
I wouldn't throw Ultramel out of bed. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. No,
you know,
not at all. Not at
anybody want to
all.
convince me otherwise, send one my way.
Man, I'd be all over Monarch if it wasn't so high priced.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, and you're just hoping that when you make those investments, they retain their value.
Yeah. Yeah, Gary, man, you know I ain't paying no attention. I don't know who the heck that was anyway. Don't like my stuff? Go on get. Well, listen, man, I won't keep you. I know you're a busy man. You probably got a couple meetings, with the board you got to do after this, and this and that.
Uh,
I know how you are.
Man, I gotta get to cleaning because I ain't got no interns. Is what I gotta do.
It's rough, man.
I got that
I
I got that ammonia smell killing me right now, burning my nose hairs. I gotta get in there first.
Yeah, that's why I don't like paper towel, man. I can't stand it. I cannot stand the smell of snake pee. And if
I'm
paper towels,
lazy. I'm lazy.
yeah,
So especially without the interns, if I had Coco there, man, who knows how long I'd go without cleaning that tub. The paper towel, you can't look at that mess.
yeah,
It's obvious. It screams at you. Clean me. It's a lot easier. So I have plenty of cocoa, but to me, it just keeps me on my toes to use the paper towel.
yeah,
And I have good humidity. They all have perfect sheds. I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now, winter months, I'll switch over to cocoa only because sometimes their sheds start getting choppy, and I'm not running a humidifier. So either I'll run the humidifier. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
that makes sense, man. That makes a lot of sense. Well, listen, brother, I appreciate you coming on, having a cold blooded talk with me, and I'll be getting with you to see when I can get on the keeper's corner.
Yeah, definitely. It's been my honor, brother. Like I said, when you told me you were doing this, I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for the opportunity. So I appreciate the invite, man.
Thanks again, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Y'all have a good night.